So I will be explaining to you the basics of an if and else statement through drawing it out in order to have a visual representation of it. So we will be discussing if-else statements, and this is really interesting because it can have multiple different decisions or outcomes depending on whatever is inputted or whatever is at the start that you are going to be evaluating. So what I like to do is we create a diagram for this. So we can start off right here. And then we are creating an if statement. So usually the if statement looks a little like if, and then you have your arguments of if it does meet whatever is in the parentheses requirements, you continue on with the body. And if not, you go to the else statement. And else is just like we're speaking in English. If this is happening, then we do this. Or else, and then we go to the else statement and we just ignore the entire if part and go straight to the else. And then we execute whatever is in here. Otherwise, we could also, of course, do, instead of just doing two statements, you do else if, and then you do another requirement in here. And if it meets the requirements, you execute this body, and if not, you can just do another else, and then it's just anything in between that does not correlate with these two statements right here. So that's really interesting, but it's quite difficult to understand, which is why we would like to draw it out. So we start from here, and then that's when you begin the if. So ifs are usually a diamond because you can go multiple ways with it. And if can only end up as true or false. So you have true or you have false. And so the inside of the triangle is the argument that we are trying to say, is it true or is it going to be false? And let's just say if a number equals to 1. So let's say number was originally created as 2. So we go, okay, and then we write if this within the parentheses is true, then we follow this true path, where we are then saying, oh, well, if that's true, then we want the body to execute, let's say, just print true. And this would be printed instead. But if it is false, then we go on this side and we say this would be the part where it's not inside of this body. So this body correlates with this body of the if. And then if it's false, we create something totally different. You can create an if-else statement, and this would be another if-else, which is created to have another outcome that you can do, like another body and another possibility. We just do number equals to 2. Now, if else is number equals to 2, then you also have, is it true or is it false? And if it's false, you can do like print no. But if it's true, you can do print number equals to 2. So let's take it from the top. So let's say you do if number equals to 1. Remember, this is what is actually already in our code from before and that we are evaluating. But here we do if, and then it's asking, is the number equal to 1? Obviously, it's not equal to 1. We can see that it's false, so we go down the false path. And then we are hit with another if-else statement. And so if the number equals to 2, then it does work. And then we say, okay, that is true. A number, this does equal to this, so it is true. And then we go down the true path, and then we would print number equals 2. So this would be the actual outcome of this entire if-else statement. Now, that's really interesting because an if-else statement can be extremely confusing. But when you draw it out, you see they're just taking multiple different paths that are bringing us from if all the way to the if-else statement, because remember, if the if statement is false, then we don't have to, if it's false, then we do not have to go down this entire true path. And that's really interesting because that means that we have multiple different decisions that we can be making and outcomes we can be making, whether it is true or false.